Happening now on Newstalk 1010, Toronto Police Chief Myron Demkiw and Toronto Police Services Board Chair Shelly are joining Deb Hutton, and they're taking calls on public safety. Let's listen in live.
Dozens of people have ended up in the hospital as a result of police force, including broken bones, concussions, torn ligaments. And I'm just wondering, is the Toronto Police perhaps using excessive force?
Well, let me start with that. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to discuss some of what's been going on in our city at a pretty significant pace of operations. I think when I look back at since October 7, 2023, this city has seen upwards of 3,000 planned and unplanned events that have taken place. And specific to our response, which we refer to as Project Resolute, we've had hundreds and hundreds of events, both planned and unplanned. And I think what's important to reflect on is the vast majority of those events happen with no arrests. They happen with no use of force. And as it relates to use of force, we are very, very careful. We do our absolute best to maintain safety and peaceful protests and gatherings and demonstrations, and ensure those who are demonstrating can do so in a safe way. There have been occasions from time to time since October 7, 2023, where we needed to effect arrests or take steps to ensure the safety of the community and the safety of people at different events. And there have been arrests made, and arrests by their very nature involve some amount of use of force, but we do so proportionate to the circumstances each and every time. And each case is unique, and the context of what officers are facing is unique. And I really actually do want to take the opportunity to commend our people who have been incredibly resilient and thoughtful in their approach, and frankly have I think done an incredible job keeping these events as safe as they can be. They are, of course, difficult. They are charged with emotion often, but our job is to protect all communities and to ensure that people's charter-protected right to gather, demonstrate, and assemble is done so in a safe way. And when there is criminality that requires our action, that we do so in a proportionate way to what we're facing and as safe as we possibly can.
And the consistent part there, Deb, is that protecting that right, and that's been a real source of controversy in the community. There's no doubt about it since October 7th, 2023. But we cannot guarantee the consistency of the types of protests or how the protesters will respond to having the police there to protect their right. And so they turn into conflicts, and sometimes there are conflicts between community members. So we can't predict. We don't see any indication as the board of the police deciding here's a tactic and we're going to start using this on every protest. They have to take each protest as it comes. But we're in lockstep between the Toronto Police Services Board, the oversight body, and frankly, City Hall, in response to the community, continues to say we'll continue to protect people's right to protest. That's a fundamental right in Canada, but we have to demand safety, and there has to be protest without endangering the public, blocking traffic, and certainly without fear of hate and criminal harassment.
416-872-1010, having a conversation with Shelly and Chief Myron Demkiw. Let's go to, this is Brian Patterson from the Ontario Safety League. Hey, Brian.
How's your day going? You had the weekend? You're doing a great job, Chief. And the board's supporting you, but it'd be nice. I was just wondering if you have any wish to bring back Elmer the safety elephant. We've got all these kids on scooters and with helmets, without helmets, and all that sort of thing. I think we could make that work beautifully.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, listen, Brian, I grew up with Elmer, the safety element, so you're kind of pulling on a heartstring here a little bit. In fact, I do remember the police officer who used to come to my class to this day. We work very hard with our local communities to engage, particularly with young people and kids in this, as this question refers to, around safety, around being aware of how to travel to and from school safely and that kind of thing. And Elmer, the safety element was one way for us to engage young people, and we now do it through a number of other ways. But the issue around scooters and road safety, this is something that over the coming weeks we're going to hear more about. We are embarking on a return to school campaign later in August, and part of that return to school campaign will include some education around, what we refer to commonly as micromobility devices, but basically scooters, bicycles, and the like. And part of that is tied to our school program and ensuring young kids who are returning to school do so in a safe way.
Shelly, I've tackled this topic before. I'm just going to pick up on the chief's comments.
All right, we've been listening in to Newstalk 1010. Toronto Police Chief Myron Demkiw and Toronto Police Services Board Chair Shelly Carroll joining Deb Hutton there, taking calls from the public, asked about protests related to the war in the Middle East. The chief says when it comes to use of force, he says we do try our very best to maintain peaceful protests and keep people safe. He does say that there have been occasions where officers have needed to arrest people and use some amount of force. The chief also talking about the challenges related to managing these protests and says the response, according to him, has always been proportionate. And they were just asked about road safety there as well.